Hi, Tara. Good
Yay!
evening.
Good evening. It's
How
so
are
good
you
to have you.
doing?
I'm fine. I'm good.
Same
Thank you
here.
so much
It's
for
my
being
pleasure to
here.
be here.
Thank you.
It's my
Thank you.
pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not just me rather. We also have Fiona in the studio and together all of us will be having the conversation. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Fiona.
Hi, Ireti. How you doing?
I didn't get the other name, Fiona, and
Tara. My name is Tara.
yeah, I know
No, it's
Tara,
just me and
Fiona.
you and Fiona.
Oh,
That's
just
all.
you.
Yeah, just three of
Okay,
us.
okay.
Yes, yes,
Hi,
yes, yes.
Fiona.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
All right, glad to have you here.
Same
Okay.
here.
Yep. Fiona, how was your weekend? How you doing?
It was all right. I haven't been feeling too well,
Yeah, yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
all
You're
right
better.
now. I'm a bit better.
All right then. So I think we should just start off with just because I saw Joe Boy still posted this like a few minutes ago, talking about body count. Yes, I have always thought about wait. 2 weeks ago, we had a conversation on air where the guys were talking about how I wouldn't marry a woman if her body count has exceeded a certain number. And then I saw Joe Boy's tweets saying, even if she tells you three, how would you know it's not more than three? Like, it's all of this. Then I come back to think again, and I'm like, wait, all these women, your body, your choice, women, you gotta explore your body, you gotta give in, enjoy the greatness of having, sexual pleasure, orgasm, so to say, like all of this stuff. I'm like, hope that's not what's misleading women to increase body counts, because we've only known this as men. I have only known this as a man's thing, like body count. The man will just sleep with anybody just to fulfill sexual fantasies. But now the women are, partaking in this. And I'm like, wait, hope it's not because sex packs. I would say I'm not saying it's bad advice now, but I'm saying hope it's not because of the advice that we've given. So yeah, I don't know if you can like shed light on that. Like being sexually
Okay.
expressive is not the same as saying women sleep around.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. First of all, thank you for inviting me here.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here. My name is Ireti, your Project Talk Sex with Ireti. So, talking about this, really, let me correct a notion. So, there's a
Mm-hmm.
difference between being sexually expressive, all right, and gallivanting around, like you're everywhere,
Yeah.
sleeping around. There's a difference between, being sexually liberated, okay, and being too available for every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Mm-hmm.
So when we encourage, when we preach about sex positivity, when we preach about you being sexually confident and
Yeah.
empowered, what we mean is that you should be able to understand what it means to choose and decide. You should be able to decide what you want and not be forced into doing anything with anyone you would not want to do it with. So, what am I trying to say here? Being sexually expressive is actually being sexually empowered, right? You're
Yeah.
confident,
Mm-hmm.
you understand your boundaries, you understand your desires, you recognize your wants,
Yeah.
you understand consent, right?
Yeah.
You understand what it means to practice safe sex.
Mm-hmm.
You understand everything that revolves around sex. This is what we mean by being sex positive. This is what we mean by you being sexually expressive. Now, when we talk about, you being very confident about sex, nobody is saying, oh yes, because Ireti, the sex coach, already said that. She's been able to empower so many women. And so when I need sex, I'm going to get it whenever I want. Hello, that's not what I said.
No.
Okay, so it's okay to be sexually confident. I encourage women. It's something about me. It's what I've done. I've been able to do for years, and what I'm still doing. I'm passionate about helping women, not just women, because I'm not really gender
Yeah,
specific.
yeah,
Men,
yeah.
women, to be able to find, to find your voice, to express yourself yourself when it comes to sex. So when you're in a relationship or you're in a marriage,
Mm-hmm.
right, you should be confident about your body, right? You begin to tackle the issues of low self-esteem, because this is a particular problem when it comes to, getting sexually intimate with your partner.
Yeah.
So when you're able to, override all of this, so many emotional issues, it just makes you different from every other woman, right? It
Yeah.
makes you different from every other person. So you are in your relationship or you're married, and then you want to get sexually intimate with your partner, or I mean, you somehow you explore some level of intimacy with your partner. You
Mm.
should be able to say, "I desire this." You should be able to express yourself, your concerns. You should be able to talk about sex to an extent to even be able to tell how compatible you are sexually with your partner. So this
Right.
is what we mean by being sexually empowered. This is what we mean by you being sexually expressive and not necessarily thinking that, oh, I can, get down with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. I can do whatever I want. It's your body, it's your choice. But then you have the power to be who you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so being sexually liberated just simply means that you recognize yourself, right? You embrace your sexuality. You know who you are. I mean, we respect your sexuality. You should be able to recognize who you are sexually, right?
Yep.
You should be able to recognize who you are sexually, and then you embrace it. That is what it means to be sexually liberated. I hope I answered your
Yeah, yeah, no,
question.
you have. You have indeed answered that. I mean, honestly, it's like, well, I was just going in my head like, yes, girl, you're not a booty call for someone who just wants to get down. You're not you're not the answer to his blue ball situation. You're not like you don't he's not he's not your concern. He's not your priority if you are not in a relationship with him, especially marriage. Like, you're not supposed to attend to every of his sexual needs just because
And another thing,
yeah.
let me add to this.
Mm.
So even if you're in a relationship with him, you should also be able to recognize the difference between engaging in a sexual act that you choose to engage in, or the one that is decided for you. You should
Right.
be able to make your decisions with your full chest. That's what, I mean, you should be able to make your decisions. But then
Mm-hmm.
in making your decisions, be sure that it's not like you're being coerced into doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are doing it because it's you. I mean, so
Yep.
let me give an instance for married couples, for example, or maybe for intending couples. So you're in a relationship, and you're soon to be or something, right? And then you know that you want a particular thing, or
Right.
there's a particular desire you've been nursing
Mm-hmm.
in your mind, and then you're unable to express yourself to your partner.
Yeah.
I mean, you're so scared. There's fear. There's so much of inhibition of sexual desire. Or you're being. I mean, you're probably stereotyped to think that there's a particular way things should be done,
Mm-hmm.
and that actually affects the way you express yourself when it comes to getting sexually intimate with your partner. So all of this becomes, I mean, sooner or later, they become issues that you begin to deal with later on in your relationship. But then when you understand what it means to be sexually expressive, it just takes you one step higher than every other than every other person. You're able to just express your concerns. Body language is a way to express yourself. And even when you take it to communicating verbally, it also does a lot of magic in being very expressive in partner.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Fiona, I don't know if there's something you want to add or ask as regards what we've just discussed right now. Okay, okay. 0700 Leave a message on WhatsApp 0909 This is Girlish, and we're talking intimacy. We're talking everything that you need to be a part of as regards being in a couple, as regards being a woman. We'll go on a quick breather, and when we return, this conversation continues. Our special guest today is Ireti, Talk Sex with Ireti. You know her on social media as that. She has attended to all of your intimacy issues, and I mean, if she hasn't, this is an opportunity for you to get in touch with her right now and figure out how to fix that problem that you're having. It is Talk Sex with Ireti on social media. We'll be right back. We are back to our discussion on Girlish today. Be a part of it. 0909-916-4403 or tweet at city1051, and then you can call us up even 0700-1051-1051. We have sex part, sex coach, intimacies over everything in between. Awards winning Talk Sex with Ireti with us on the discussion today, and we have just talked about what it means for you to be sexually free, to be able to express yourself freely as a woman, and how that does not in any way translate to you having to go around and sleep with just anybody because you're in the mood or because they are in the mood. If you did not catch that part of the conversation, you definitely can. We are on Spotify, just at Girlish on the podcast rather, and you find this conversation most definitely. And let's move on. Not to forget, we have Fiona in the studio. I'm just here thinking, so as a sex part, as a coach, you have definitely dealt with issues, some very unimaginable issues, like, wait, this is a thing, this is a problem. And I'm just like, okay, can you give us your top issues that you've had to deal with, and solutions that people face, that couples face in their relationships today as regards intimacy? Basically as regards intimacy, yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, so first of all, I think the number one thing for me is low self-esteem. I think this is very common with women, especially when maybe they've when you undergone childbirth, when you just put to bed, or maybe you're a new mom or something, you have your body will change. It's normal. From pregnancy to the stage of childbirth, you're probably not even getting your body back, right? So if you're not careful, it affects how you see yourself. You begin to have a poor self-image, and it can tamper with your self-esteem. So when low self-esteem, arises, when you begin to experience a level of low self-esteem, it causes a huge, it takes your sex life from 100 to 0%,
most definitely
a GP, because you begin to see yourself in a different light, and then you look at yourself, oh, my tummy is wrinkled, my boobs are sagging, I'm not as beautiful as I used to. All the hot shape, hot figure, flat tummy, everything is looking different.
Yeah.
Begin to think, all of these begin to tell on how confident you can be. It begins to tell in how you can even express yourself sexually with your partner. And then before you know it, it becomes a serious issue. You begin to, if you're not denying your partner, you're, somehow rigid about it. It's just a big issue. Now, another one here is fear. Yes, fear. So for some ladies, I can say that when it comes to the level of fear, that's another one. That's another one. So low self-esteem is a 90%, right? And then fear takes about 80%. Because fear for no reason. Now you ask me, what's the reason for the fear?
Exactly.
For some, it could be abuse. When they were little, maybe they've had one experience or the other. They're still suffering from, the sexual traumatic experience that they've had in the past, and they're unable to, overcome it. And for some people, it's just based on what they've heard. Someone is married or someone is in a relationship, and you've heard too many, look at the way the media is right now. You hear lots of back tales every now and then when it comes to relationships, when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to even sexual relationships. When maybe you once witnessed a happy relationship of a friend or someone you don't even know, and the next thing
Right.
you're hearing about something else, and by the time you dig down, you dig deep to know the root cause of the issues, it's always related to something sexual. Now, all of these can begin to build a level of fear inside you. So nothing has happened to you, but then you're just afraid. You're just afraid. What if? What if? There's so many what ifs, right? You have it
True.
all in your head.
Mm.
Okay, so fear is also a major issue.
Mm.
Abuse, sexual trauma, it's a major issue as well. And also another one here is unresolved emotional conflicts. So it's not possible for you to be having emotional issues with your partner and you want to enjoy intimacy. It doesn't really work
Right.
that way. Yeah, I have that a lot, especially when I have my couple sessions. And by the time we get talking and talking, then you begin to see that there's a lot going on already before they brought themselves to therapy. So unresolved emotional issues is a major one as well. And
Mm-hmm.
to build a level of intimacy between you and your partner. Trust me, if you're suffering emotionally, it is going to tell. Intimacy is not just sexual. It's not just sexual. There's the physical aspect of intimacy, there's the emotional aspect, there's the mental aspect of intimacy before we are even talking about sexual. So if you do not address all of these areas so well, right, you're going to be having problems, enjoying a level of sexual intimacy with your partner. All right.
Yeah.
Now, there's also, I also have issues of even individuals or couples, experiencing a level of, inhibited sexual desires. So you're probably having issues getting aroused because you get distracted. You get distracted easily. Some people, when you're trying to get intimate with your partner, whether it's sexual or not, even if it's emotional closeness, right?
Mm.
The level of emotional closeness you share with your partner it's also you being intimate with your partner. So there are times that you just want to have a me moment with your partner, not necessarily sex this time around,
Yeah.
that emotional connection. And then you end up getting distracted. There are too many things in your head, there are too many things wrapped there, and you can't just, explain how it's doing you. So
Mm.
all of it are, major issues that I get to deal with, during my sessions. And another one here is also myth. For some people, there's really nothing wrong, but because of what they've heard, so many superstitious beliefs. Yes, I once engaged a couple. Okay, so her husband booked her for a session,
Mm.
right? And then we eventually had the two, the husband and wife, after our own, private session. So first of all, this particular woman has, for some reasons, she believes that to explore some certain positions are not of the Lord, you know, not of the Lord. And I'm like, okay, now we are getting to
Wait,
understand.
even in marriage.
Yes, a lot.
That's
See, when it comes
interesting.
to sex therapy, sex
Yeah.
coaching. It's so interesting. I love my job so much, and I won't deny that there are some things that I've gotten to even understand in the course of my job that
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard before.
Mm.
Yes, like I've sometimes you see these things on the media, like people joke about it, and you think it's just it's just fiction.
Cruise.
Like
Mm.
it's just cruise. But I tell you, I kid
It's
you not,
true.
these things are happening. There
That's
are real life stories. I've had cases with couples that feel that some certain sexual positions are, they're not meant to engage in it. And it's been the cause of, the major issue in their marriage, like a
Mm-hmm.
very, very, a major one. There are also people that feel that, oh, because of, their religious belief, or they hold a place in, maybe in the church or something, or
Right.
some things they can't do with their partners. It's a whole lot. And even when it also talking about even circumcision as well. Yes. So
What is that? Yeah.
there's this we've been made to believe that if you experience genital mutilation, you can never enjoy sex.
As
Now,
a
don't get
woman.
me wrong. Yes, if you, of course, it's a barbaric thing to experience mutilation of any kind. I mean, FGM, female genital mutilation, is really barbaric, and I feel that, I mean, it should be stopped now. I know it's been stopped in some parts of the country, but
Yeah.
it's alarming to know that, I mean, it's still
It's
going
still
on in
going
some
on.
certain parts of the country. So what am I trying to say? What I'm just trying to say here is that, these are the issues, these are the common issues that we get to experience, that, couples get to share, even individuals as well. And like the mutilation aspect, I mean, there's also a superstitious belief. I mean, you see men as well. Oh, I think she's circumcised. I think that's why she's not willing to get intimate with me. And then they feel it's not necessary to find a solution. I mean, she was circumcised, so there's really nothing I can do. Well, I'm not the cause for the circumcision. I'm not the reason why she was circumcised. So, well, since she was circumcised, then I think I just have to find myself another babe and, enjoy myself without, willing to even try to really still understand the root cause or find solutions. So for all of these issues that I've mentioned, there are solutions.
Yeah.
Like solutions, there are great solutions out there, and I feel that when couples, or even as an individual, as a mature individual, you're battling some sort of sexual issues, there's a solution for everyone, trust me. And the solution begins with your mindset. Okay?
Okay,
It
so sorry to
begins
cut
with
you short,
your mind.
Ireti.
Okay,
Before you talk
okay,
about the solutions, yeah. So
okay,
you may agree with me or I stand to be corrected, but I feel like a lot of the
okay,
issues you've mentioned, yeah, like self-esteem, fear, and all of that, it
okay.
really has to do with the kind of partner that you're with, right? Because if you're with a partner who is nonchalant and who's not even intentional about these things, they could heighten it,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, it could
Oh,
even be
yeah.
instigated by, because I think I've heard stories of women who started to have self-esteem issues of,
Mm-hmm.
and they're feeling ashamed of their bodies. And this is based off of the things that their partner has said to them,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
necessarily on their own accord. Because I feel like sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you could go through childbirth and
Mm-hmm.
your body is out of shape, you're not necessarily feeling pretty and all of that. But if you have a partner who's consistently trying to support you emotionally and mentally, yeah, you might
Yeah,
not necessarily
yeah.
develop that whole reaction.
You're
Yes.
very right. You're very
Okay.
right. So,
Okay.
not to forget the fact that men also need the education actually, because
Yeah.
some men have assumed that, I mean, it's a woman's world. It's your world. Take care of yourself. I mean,
True.
when I need to get intimate with you, I expect that you should be ready. Whether
Yeah.
you just give birth or not, it is your duty. It is, it's time for us to fulfill our conjugal rights. I don't care whether you're in the mood or not. Let us just get to do what we need to do, because it is just the time for us to get down. So men also need, this aspect of education. They need to understand that, when it comes to managing all these issues, most of these issues are usually common with women. But like
Yeah.
Fiona said too, sometimes your husband or your partner is actually responsible for the reason why you are actually, in this life. So for example, the low self-esteem. I mean, if you're not encouraging your woman. So it is very normal and it happened to me too, it is normal for every woman to, especially after childbirth. I used to be very hot, and then I gave birth to my first son, and I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, God forbid this is Ireti. Oh no, I cannot. And this is not the Ireti that I know.
Yeah.
I started feeling bad by myself, like a big tummy. I'm just full everywhere. Like, what's the meaning of this? So, you can start feeling bad by your own self. But then when you have a supportive partner that reminds you of how beautiful you are, and I'm not saying you should be putting words in her head or be lying, but words go a long way. You can
Yeah.
help your woman feel special. you can compliment her, you can just help her, see her body image in a better light. All of these little things, these things we call little or unnecessary, they go a long way. So Fiona is very right. Thank you for that.
All
Thank
right.
you.
I mean, I think just because we do not have like so much time, let's just quickly head to the solutions, especially because of, just as you've said, the mothers.
Okay.
I have had several stories, several situations, several men talk about in
Okay.
person and on a show that I used to do before, talk about how their wives do not want sex anymore. My wife doesn't want to have sex with me anymore. I have a 6-year-old daughter and we've not had sex since she was born, just because my wife is not into it anymore. Like, it has always been that complaint, and I'm like, whilst you give us a solution, let it just include how moms can balance it all, after having a child and still, entertaining sex and still feeling sexy and still, doing right by their husband at the end of the day, because you do not want your man going outside, because that's going to push him, definitely. That would push him. So, yeah, to the solution and then that.
Oh, okay. So let me talk about the solutions first. When you experience all of those issues that I mentioned before. So first of all, when you make it a habit to communicate your fears with your partner, but then that's also when you have an understanding partner.
True.
That's when you have a partner that is willing to listen, because some partners can just aggravate the whole thing.
Very
So
true.
if there are men, listening to us right now, you also have a part to play in how well you enjoy intimacy with your woman. All right. So when you're open to communication, so even when it feels like she's not communicating, in this part of the world, let's be sincere with ourselves. It's just recently that women are beginning to come out to express themselves.
True.
We've been
Yes.
shut down for a long time. It's rare for you to see a woman talking about sex. It's rare for you to see someone just say, "Hey, babes, so I feel this way. We tend to want to manage these issues. We feel it's not necessary to talk about them. So you manage these issues thinking that your man, your husband, or your boyfriend is an angel that will detect these things by himself and give a solution. So it doesn't really work that way. But then when men also understand that, okay, right now we are talking about psychology now. You also understand that, women are wired this way. Men are the ones that they embrace this thing easily. They can easily ask questions. So you should also be able to help your woman feel so comfortable, such that she's able to willingly communicate her fears to you. So when she's experiencing all of these things, it's not going to be a challenge to her to tell you that, "Oh, babe, I think I feel pain. Oh, I think I don't know I don't know how I feel, but I feel that I'm not really, I can't explain why I'm not so getting into the sex mode. I feel," when you begin to talk about these things, your partner is also available to help you overcome these things. There's so many ways you can overcome all of this. So communication is one. Another one too is value yourself, right? I don't know about anybody else, but as far as I'm concerned, when I look at myself in the mirror, I see the most beautiful black girl in the universe.
Hallelujah.
That is me.
Energy.
Yeah, that's how I see myself.
Mhm.
I see myself as a sex goddess. I see myself as
As it should be.
someone that when I step into a place, you just have to look straight, and that's how I see myself.
Right.
I might not be that to you or any other person, but I really don't care. That's how I see myself, and it's working for me. So I feel that every woman out there should be able to place some level of value on yourself.
herself, yeah.
Value yourself. Okay. Understand that some things are normal. So you just had a baby. I mean, it's normal. You may not look so good. It's normal. Embrace that phase. All right. Embrace that phase and see how you can come out of that phase. Give yourself time. You don't need to overwork yourself. So you should exercise, but then you don't want to start exercising just 2 days after childbirth.
Yeah.
You're going to be damaging yourself the more. So give yourself cut yourself some slack. Be yourself, enjoy yourself. Just be yourself. You can't be perfect, and that's it. Okay, there's always someone that will be more beautiful. There's always someone that will look hotter than you. But then when
Exactly.
you place value on yourself, it makes you understand your self-worth. Your partner also recognizes your self-worth. And trust me, men are like babies. I feel it's actually easy to, I'm not saying be controlling over a man. I don't know if you understand what I'm
I
trying to say,
get
but
you.
actually easy to win your man's heart, like make him love you just the way you are.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen ladies with, big tummies. I mean, everything. They're not
Plot
perfect at all.
size,
And
yeah.
you've got the best partners. They are enjoying intimacy, enjoying themselves. They are having a good relationship. So it's, and there are cases that you see that, oh, and I'm hot, oh, I'm so.
Mm-hmm.
But it's South African babe. I remember a South African lady, sometimes ago, and me myself when she was like, oh, I don't know this. I was like, because I saw her shape, and I was like, hey, her shape was even.
Yeah.
Even me, I was like, man, this is a hot babe.
Right.
And then, by the time we got talking, the issues were, capped around low self-esteem. And I'm like, if I have the kind of shape that you have, everybody's in trouble. So, you placing value on yourself is very, very important. It goes a long
Yeah.
way. Now, prioritizing intimate moments with your partner is
Mm-hmm.
very key. Okay, so when you do not prioritize, this special moment with your partner, I mean, that aspect is going to be left bare. Over time, you become busier. You're going to start making babies. You're going to get busier. You're going to have more stringent jobs, family pressure. There are a whole lot that will be involved eventually. So if you do not cultivate the habit of prioritizing intimate moments, you're going to be experiencing all of these issues. So how can you prioritize intimate moments? For me, sometimes I like to be very realistic. So I won't say all the time, but I make it a duty. Like, even if it's once in a week, just myself and my mom, right? Just us. Okay? Just us. We talk about everything. We do everything. It would make up for the other times that you could barely do nothing because you were so busy. All of these busy schedules. Before you know it, they eat up into your sex life. They affect intimacy with you and your spouse, and you begin to have problems later on. Okay, so also seek help with a professional. So when it's beginning to
Very
look like,
important.
it's overwhelming, all
Mm.
right? When it looks overwhelming, you can't just handle these things on your own. Please
Mm-hmm.
speak with a professional. There are professionals out there, all right? There are professionals out there. It's just like you speaking to a marriage counselor. When it comes to, intimacy issues, sexual issues, you've got us to talk to, right? We've been trained to help you understand how you can cope, right? We've been trained to help you, learn coping techniques, coping mechanisms
Mm-hmm.
to explore intimacy with your partner. All right. So seek help with a professional. It's very, very important. And trust me, I know in this part of the world, we are always concerned about confidentiality. It's sexual, intimate moments. People in this part of the world hold it in high regard. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want any other person to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But
Nobody should know
please
my business. Yeah.
don't keep it to yourself, right? We've been trained for this. There are people that are trained for this, all right? Speak to a professional, and when you talking is healing. When you speak out your mind, it goes a
Mm-hmm.
long way, all right? And then help is given. Okay. So now trying to balance, the new life. I mean, moms especially, all right? Please and please, okay? Your
Mm-hmm.
self-care is very important. Your
Okay.
self-care is very important. Me, I tell myself something all the time. I want to be a baby girl for life. I want to
Right.
be a baby girl for life. Whether I've got kids or not, I I just want to be a baby girl. I just want to enjoy myself. So
Mm-hmm.
when you begin to, grow from the aspect of you thinking that, you owe your husband or you owe your partner something, to you understanding that you have the right to enjoy these things, the better for you. So you're a mom, you're a new mom, you just had a baby and all of that, and it's beginning to look like sex is overwhelming. Ah, man, the moment sex starts becoming overwhelming to you, it's really because you're beginning to see it as a duty. It's because you're beginning to see it as something you just have to do just to make your man happy. But when you begin to see it as something that you also need to make yourself happy, the better. So, what do I mean by self care? You need those special moments to yourself to help you feel good. I mean, if you go for a massage, for example, or you go for a full
Pedicure,
body,
manicure.
body polish, body
Mm.
everything, and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh, there's a rejuvenation. You look so good. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I look so good again. So this is me. I look so beautiful. All of this, it goes a long way. Affirmations are also part of self-care. What do you say to yourself all the time when you look at yourself in the mirror? I said something the other time. I see myself as the most beautiful, lady in
In
the
the
world, and
world,
I
yeah.
carry myself that way. So self-care is key. Prioritizing intimacy too. All right. I mentioned this the other time, prioritizing intimate moments. So I mean, prioritizing intimacy. So yes, I know you're busy. You've got your baby to take care of. There's so much you have to do. But honestly, scheduling does a great job. So you've got kids. You can actually have a proper schedule. Like draw a schedule. It might look like your life is fixed around, oh, from so time to a particular time you have to do this. But then if that is what would make you work, right? In that particular phase you are, then embrace it. Okay? There's
Yep.
time to be spontaneous, there's time to be open to scheduled activities. So you can
Mm.
prioritize intimacy, and also lastly, take it slow. You don't have to be in a rush. Allow
Mm.
your body to heal. Okay, even medically, I think it's 6 weeks after childbirth that you can start engaging in any form of intimacy after you're being confirmed by your doctor and
Mm.
certified okay. So do not be in a rush. And men, please, our men, our able men,
Mm-hmm.
let's be understanding. It's very, very important. And also, it's also not an opportunity for women to be lazy too, because I'm aware
Yeah.
that some women also would also use this as an opportunity to just, well, I'm tired, and I'm not feeling
Do you
myself. I
understand
mean,
exactly? That's where, and it's so bad that it even starts from. I bet some of these women, this is why they tell themselves, "I do not want to get married. I do not want to have children." This is the fear rather, the fear that
okay.
I would now fall in love with you, have kids for you, and then you now leave me and be going around town with other people just because I have changed in body size and the way I used to look. I think so, because I bet you it has crossed my mind. I'm like, okay, there are chances that if I were to get pregnant, I would look completely different. And yeah, it's not better I just do surrogacy or probably not even bother with kids. I have that crossed my mind. So it's like, I know that there are people out there that actually think the same way. And it's good that you've said all of
Yeah.
these things that you've said, because it really doesn't matter if you can vouch for yourself, if you can let the world know that you see yourself in a certain light that is beautiful, and you accept yourself the way you are, because you really are golden. You really are the most beautiful girl in the world at the end of the day. It's like the sky is big enough for everyone to fly. So yeah, there's really nothing
Exactly.
to fear at the end of the day. And I think another important part is the aspect of actually talking to someone. A professional
Yeah.
will do, like, it will go a
Yeah.
long way. Forget about the money. You are getting value for your money. That's one thing
Exactly.
that's certain. Because even therapy, I had to actually start that, and it's like a huge difference. Like, people do not understand the importance of talking to someone about a
Exactly.
situation,
Yeah, people
whether
on this side
it's
of the
your, do
world.
you understand, whether it's your friend, like, just talk,
Just talk
about,
about
it. You go
it.
there, you go there. They think, you worrying yourself unnecessarily about a problem that the next person that you talk to would actually have a solution
And
for you.
sometimes it's not even necessarily about the solution, it's just about talking about it and
Letting
letting
it
it off your
out.
chest. And when you do,
Yes.
you just find that you
letting
feel
it
better.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I bet you, there's this woman I
That's a
get things
great
from,
deal.
and she has a son, and there was one time we were having a conversation in her shop, and she was like, she was talking about how she doesn't think she's ever gonna have sex again now after this boy that she has had, and in my mind I'm
Wow.
like, oh, this is it though. This is how it starts. So this man will now be out there every Friday night. He's going to
Yeah,
be doing
exactly.
it. You can't say that.
And another thing that I think women should also, majority of the women, they also feel that when you begin to think that you should have sex with your partner because you're doing him a favor. I mean, you are not doing anyone a favor. It is not gender specific. All right. So when two people come together, husband and wife, you and your partner come together and you get sexually intimate, nobody is doing anyone a favor.
At
You are
all.
both meant to enjoy the
Yeah,
moment
we're
together.
equally entitled to, the level of
So-
satisfaction we each
Exactly.
should.
So there's really nothing like, I don't want to do this. It's going to be disturbing me and all of that. And also, when you also think that you're doing it because you don't want your man to go out, that's another thing. When it comes to sexual intimacy, right?
Yeah.
I always say something in my classes. I say stuff like, good sex, all right? Good sex, when you are erotic, I mean, you have some level of eroticism in you and all of that, all right? It would only make sense to a good man and not just an ordinary man, okay? So if you have a man that is not worth all of that, he's still not going to see any sense in all of that. So what am I trying to say? You should do these things because you're doing it for you and not necessarily because of your man. All right. When your man spots, what you have inside you, I think the better for you. But our men too should also do better.
Yeah.
There's always a lot of issues.
No, this has been really enlightening, as I see in the messages that we have received, but unfortunately we cannot take and the calls that came through whilst we were having the conversation. Sincere apologies. Hopefully we have another session with you, and we get to answer questions, take calls, and to just talk more about this intimacy stuff, because it's bigger than this. This is just like the tip. There's a whole lot to talk about when it comes to intimacy, and definitely we will have you back if you're willing to come through for us.
I'll be glad. I'll be glad.
Okay, thank you. We'll arrange that, and we'll definitely let you know. Don't forget, if you want to listen to this again, it's going to be on Spotify, obviously. After now, listen on Spotify and enjoy and learn and teach others as you learn as well. Fiona, I don't know if you have like last words, something that you want to say.
Yeah, so I feel like it's been a very enlightening conversation, like you said, and it's just going to go ahead to show that your mind is so powerful, because like at the end of the day, it all starts from your mind too. So and then affirmations, like she said, it's something that lots of people are recently coming to the realization that it could be super helpful. So yeah, those affirmations, like sometimes it may seem a bit what's the word now, it might feel like you're just saying stuff to yourself, and what effects can it actually have, but the consistency with these affirmations, I feel like
And
it goes
believing in it.
it goes a long way,
It does.
because sometimes you don't have to believe it from the start, but when you consistently say it to yourself, you will start to believe it, and you
see
will
it
start
happen.
to feel better, and manifest these
Exactly.
things. So yeah,
It's been amazing. Thank you so much, Ireti, for coming through. Find and
You're
follow her
welcome.
on social media at Talk Sex with Ireti. The sex has 3 instead of E, so yeah, Talk Sex with Ireti, and let her handle your intimacy business. Basically, she's good, as you've heard. I mean, she did most of the talking. It's not Fiona and myself. You definitely have learned, as I have, and as we said, we will be back very, very soon for another, intimacy talk, basically. Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank you so much for having me.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Now,
Thank you.
okay. I know
All
you have a
right.
class now, so yeah, bye.
Yes, like right now.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank you
so much.
so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
All right, Fiona, you want to leave your handles so they can find and follow you?
Okay, you can find me at the Fiona Davis on all social media platforms.
Okay, and well, I'm still here, so you'd get to hear mine. But hey, underscore TTARRA on all platforms as well. The Super Drive Time Show with Casey and myself continues in the beat. I really do hope you enjoyed this episode of Girlish.